University in the reorientation of the program wants to move away from this hard line, bottom line criteria of management, more into the sensitivity of understanding the bottom of the pyramid management. And their theory is that 2/3 of the world lives below the poverty line. And believe me, out of that, 1/3 is India. And any new technologies, any new developments, any new management theories will ultimately have to be directed towards the upliftment of those 2/3 of humanity, for which cheaper technologies will be required, sensitivity will be required. So when I talk about this temporary wall, I think this temporary wall should extend itself beyond the dialogue between two people to dialogue with the community, with people whom you will be interacting every day. And I think this is, to me, it's a very, very critical aspect, and I was really touched that Harvard is actually going to reorient this program. Another thing which you will face in the world, and many of you will probably go out also into international business, is that, you know, the world is becoming global, but the thinking is still very national. All of you are the new citizens of the world, and new citizens of India and of the world. And I think you will have to develop sensitivity towards cultures, religions, ethnicities, colors. And I believe that within the education platform globally, I think this message of tolerance will have to be built if we really want a globalized world, because otherwise we will see very nationalistic policies, nationalistic thinking, but no real globalization. There will be globalization in trade and commerce, there will be globalization in movement of goods and services, but there will be very little globalization in terms of the humanity as such. I'll share with you one more statistic. Between now and 2050, the population of the world will go up by about 2.5 billion people, out of which in the developed world there will be only 100 million, that's all. And the rest of them will be in India, Africa, Southeast Asia, and not in China. Now, the working population of the world is going to decline, and the working population is really going to be created in Asia. Now, there will be migration. If there is no tolerance, how will this migration ever take place, and what do we foresee in the world? So I think we need to really develop this tolerance, and as you go out in the world, you must develop this sensitivity both to the bottom of the pyramid as well as to other cultures and ethnicities. So I am actually just going to leave with these few thoughts. They are not, I have not related them to my own experience in business as such, but I believe that ultimately it's the value systems which will make men and women out of you. And these value systems are what the country is today lacking. All around us we see a complete degradation of our moral values. And I think as if the younger generation and if students who have had the opportunity and chance to go through an institution of the caliber of IILM, and I've talked about all this because in some ways I borrowed from the word IILM because it says integrated learning and management. It goes beyond academics, and therefore I kind of developed the courage to at least talk about, you know, a poem. And at the end I'm just going to read out this poem to you. It'll take you about 3 minutes, but the poem also talks about the other aspect of why there should be a wall at all. So something there is that doesn't love a wall, that sends the frozen ground swell under it, and spills the upper boulders in the sun, and makes gaps even two can pass abreast. The work of hunters is another thing. I have come after them and made repair, where they have left not one stone on a stone. But they would have the rabbit out of hiding to please the yelping dogs. This analogy I have not touched upon at all, but I think this is very, very powerful. The gaps, I mean, no one has seen them made or heard them made, but at spring mending time we find them there. We build up all kinds of expectations, we never talk about it, so the gaps are created, but we don't ever address it. I let my neighbor know beyond the hill, and on a day we meet to walk the line and set the wall between us again. We keep the wall between us as we go. To each the boulders have fallen to each, and some are lobes and some so nearly balls we have to use a spell to make them balance. So sometimes there are relationships which have to make them balance. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. We wear our fingers rough with handling them. Oh, just another kind of outdoor game, one on a side. It comes to little more. Then where is it that we do not need the wall? He is all pine and I am apple orchard. My apple trees will never get across and eat the cones under his pines, I tell him. He only says, good fences make good neighbors. Spring is the mischief in me, and I wonder if I could put a notion in his head. Why do they make good neighbors? Isn't it where there are cows? But here there are no cows. Before I built a wall, I had asked to know what I was walling in or walling out, and to whom I was like to give offense. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that want it down. I could say elves to him, but it's not elves exactly, and I'd rather he said it for himself. I see him there, bringing a stone grasped firmly by the top in each hand, like an old stone savage armed. He moves in darkness, as it seems to me, not of woods only and shade of trees. He will not go beyond his father's saying, and he likes having thought of it so well. He says again, good fences make good neighbors. Thank you very much.